Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a rose gold 2019 model year launch limited edition of 159 pieces. It is the Breitling Navitimer reference 806 1959 reedition, and it is very true to its source material. An early test of whether Georges Kern's new regime at Breitling would in fact issue reeditions that were true to the size and no date, manual wind specifications of the originals. And in this case, almost everything that is important about the original has been preserved in the aesthetic of this watch. So we fly back to the 1950s in the first decade of Breitling's famous circular slide rule calculator chronograph. AOPA offered it through its catalog to members, and so we have everything but the AOPA initials on that logo right at the top of the dial with the wings and the shield. Normally it would be AOPA. That's been removed for obvious reasons, but the watch in almost every other regard, from the manual wind movement to the 40.9 millimeter case, the beaded bezel and the plexiglass crystal, the no-date dial and the tone-on-tone, very, very faithful. So the watch is in rose gold, 40.9 millimeters in diameter, 13.9 millimeters thick. A lot of that is the vaulted plexi. It is 48.7 lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. And that lug spacing feels quite modern, I must say. The watch itself looks great. On the wrist, I would recommend it for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference and up. My wrist is 16 right here. A lot of that height is the crystal, so a sleeve should ramp up and over it. If you want to use it as a dress watch, no problem. A sleeve will not get caught up or stuck. I've got plenty of clearance on each side, even over the top. The lugs are not beyond the edge of my wrist, and this is an angle that exaggerates the width of a watch. A lovely aviator-style strap, albeit a little bit better than an aviator would have received. Generally, an aviator strap is calfskin with thick bolstering and a contrasting stitch. Well, we've got most of that, but what we have is alligator leather, so it's a more expensive, more durable, more upscale material. Semi-gloss, sort of reddish brown with some bolstering to give it volume, a folded edge, a contrasting stitch, and then calfskin on the bottom, which is neither crimped nor gouged, a brand new Breitling factory strap, and a simple Breitling buckle that includes a bevel on the outer face. Everything here is polished, with the exception of the underside, which is brushed. Rolling around to the case, it is all polished. We have very minimal beveling, a very soft bevel on the edge of the lugs, very squared off on their ends, a narrow case band, the beaded bezel, and there were several different sides of beadings on the original 1950s Navitimers. So this one is designed to reference the beading scale of 1959. The beads originally started very, very small. Vintage pump-style pushers, push-down crown. The watch is 30 meters water-resistant. You can see this is number 15 of 159. R means rose gold, B09 means that's the movement that's inside. It is a manual wind conversion of Breitling's B01 automatic chronograph. Taking a look at the dial side, we've got a logarithmic scale, circular slide rule. And those of you who are really into math and engineering are probably already wondering where the other scales are, and the answer is not here. The idea, when the Navitimer purportedly arrived in 1952. There is some debate about that. But the idea was that you had a scale which included various types of units. And unlike the 1940s chronomat, which was a simple circular slide rule, now you have things like nautical and statute miles and all of the measures, including kilometers, necessary to calculate flight functions. So fuel consumption, rate of climb, rate of drift, ground speed, airspeed, things that are important, generally rates. And so multiplication and division are the scales you get here. And I'll do a little demonstration of how all this works. So let's say I want to multiply 17 by 3. So I'm going to take 17 on the outer scale and put it over 10 on the inner scale. So 17 times 3 is going to be 51. So I'm going to find 3. Now I'm going to find 3 here. And there you go. Right on top of 3, we've got 51. So that's 17 times 3. Now let's say I want to divide, stick with 3 here. I'll make it nice and even and easy to understand. Say I want to divide 9 by 3. Notice that we don't have decimals. You have to keep your orders of magnitude in mind. This could be 90 divided by 3, 90 divided by 30, 0.9 divided by 30. You've got to remember that. But let's just say we're going to divide 90 by 30. Well, we set it up like a fraction. The number to be divided over the number dividing it. Go around, take a look. That's our inner index. And sure enough, 90 divided by 30 is 3. Again, you got to keep your decimals in mind. Very simple. Easy to learn. Replay that as many times as you like. Let's do a loom shot. Obviously here we have photina, the simulated look of radium patina, 67 years later, and it does nothing to dull the actual luminova luminescence of the watch. We've got lovely rose gold hands and a sort of gilt rose gold on black printing for the center dial. We have sunken registers with radially arrayed numerals, and a lovely set of syringe hands for the hours and minutes with chronoseconds by a count-weighted lancet style hand. And then if you look closely, we have a concentric pattern or azurage in each of the sub-registers, along with little demarcations 3, 6, and 9 minutes. Purportedly because back in the period when the original was made, that's how long-distance phone calls would be billed in 3-minute increments. Modern movement on the inside, and so we have a crisp column wheel function selector, a vertical clutch so it engages with no jump or stagger. The seconds hand is utterly still as it commences, and the vertical clutch also allows you to keep the chrono running full time with no additional wear and tear. We do have the stop seconds function, but you will notice that there is no date, so there is no quick set. And then we've got 70-hour power reserve, manually wound, 39 joules, 5-position adjustment, and a COSC chronometer certification for the movement. So it is a very sophisticated in-house chronograph caliber manual wind in this application. Now, a little note about that column wheel. I have found that if you like a sharp, robust, loud column wheel action, not the almost too refined snick of a dotograph, but chunk, then you want either a Rolex 4130, a Zenith El Primero 400, or a Breitling B01 family movement like this B09. It's really impressive. And of course, we have the true to history plexi for that off-axis distortion. So a lovely and evocative modern watch that is proof in practice that Breitling, for its re-edition models, was and remains very faithful to its rich history. This is the iconic Breitling in the iconic form. If there were ever such a thing as a core version of the Navitimer in the modern era, it would be this, and something like it should be in the catalog on a permanent basis as their Jumbo, as their Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, as their Grand Reverso tribute to 1931. This is the very heart and soul of Breitling in its purest form. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.